Okay, so get this. We've got a story
Oh, yeah.
that's going to take us from like the world of international basketball
Okay.
straight into like a courtroom drama. You ready for this deep dive?
Yeah, lay it on me.
All right. So we're looking into the case of Malik Dunbar,
Okay.
and he's this rising star
Mm-hmm.
playing for the Caledonia Gladiators in Scotland
I've heard of them.
until he's suddenly linked
What?
to a murder investigation
Oh, wow.
back in the U.S.
No way.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's great. So what happened? Like, what are we looking at here?
Well,
Give me the background.
I'll give you the background,
Yeah.
but I think what's really striking is the juxtaposition here.
Okay.
Dunbar
Yeah.
is only 25 years old,
Okay.
and he was making waves over in Scotland,
Yeah.
quickly becoming a fan favorite
Mm-hmm.
for the Gladiators.
Right.
Now, for those unfamiliar, the
Yeah.
Gladiators are a prominent team
Okay.
in the British Basketball League.
Gotcha. So the BBL.
The BBL, exactly. And,
Yeah.
the BBL, it often serves as a stepping stone
Right. Of course. Yeah.
for players
Like into the,
aiming for bigger leagues.
yeah, the EuroLeague.
Like the EuroLeague.
Yeah.
Or even the NBA.
That's right.
So Dunbar,
Yeah.
he was on like this really promising trajectory.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Then boom, news drops that he's a suspect
Wow.
in a murder case.
Oh my gosh.
That happened before he even joined the Gladiators.
That's crazy.
I know.
So they had no idea.
That's what's so wild.
Oh my God.
The Gladiators are claiming
Yeah.
that they were totally in the dark
Wow.
about all of this.
You're kidding?
No.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
That's nuts.
They said the alleged murder
Yeah.
involved a gun
Okay.
and occurred before Dunbar ever set foot in Scotland.
Wow.
Talk about a bombshell.
That's a huge mess.
I know.
So what did they do?
Well, it's understandable why they reacted so swiftly,
Oh, yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah.
In their official statement,
Mm.
they expressed shock, disappointment,
Yeah.
and ultimately they decided to terminate his contract.
Oh, wow. They had to.
It's a classic damage control move, right?
Totally, yeah.
Distancing themselves
Yeah.
from the controversy,
Absolutely.
and they're saying that they're fully cooperating with authorities.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
So this raises an important question
Oh, okay.
about how teams,
Yeah.
especially those recruiting internationally,
Yeah, that's tough.
vet their players.
Right.
So what kind of background checks are standard procedure
Yeah.
in leagues like the British Basketball League?
That's a good question.
Right,
I mean, it varies in
Okay.
the U.S.
Mhm.
The NBA,
right.
they have a fairly robust system,
Yeah.
including background checks
Yeah.
and investigations,
yeah.
even for potential draft picks.
Jesse.
However,
Yeah.
in leagues outside the U.S., especially those with smaller budgets
Yeah,
or less infrastructure,
right.
the process might not be as rigorous.
I see.
It's a question of resources and priorities,
That makes sense.
you know?
Yeah,
Every league's a little bit different.
right. And every country is a little bit different too.
Exactly.
Which leads us to another crucial point.
Yeah.
What about Dunbar's side of the story?
Yeah, that's a good question. And
We haven't even heard that yet.
yeah, and that's where things get even more complicated.
Okay.
We're talking about an ongoing investigation
Right.
in the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
and Dunbar hasn't been found guilty of anything.
Right, he's just a suspect.
Exactly. He's a suspect at this point,
Yeah.
yet his career is effectively on hold.
Wow.
He's lost his position,
Right.
his income,
Yeah,
and his reputation is taking a massive hit.
I can imagine.
It's a stark reminder of how accusations alone
Right.
can have devastating consequences,
Wow.
regardless of the legal outcome.
It's innocent until proven guilty.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
but in the court of public opinion,
Yeah,
it seems like he's already been found guilty.
yeah. Unfortunately, that happens a lot.
That's true.
Yeah.
So this case,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder if we're putting too much faith
Yeah.
in background checks alone.
It's a good point.
Where someone manages to slip through the cracks,
Yeah.
like the Gladiators are claiming happened with Dunbar.
You raise a valid point.
Yeah.
Background checks aren't foolproof.
Right.
There can be errors,
Yeah.
omissions,
Mm-hmm.
and even deliberate attempts to hide information.
Right.
It's not as simple as just running a check and calling it a day.
Right. It's not just a formality.
Exactly.
So this brings us to a larger and, frankly, more uncomfortable question.
Okay.
Should teams be held accountable
Ooh, that's a good question.
for the actions of their players off the field?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Yeah.
On one hand,
Yeah.
teams invest heavily in their players,
Mm-hmm.
and their reputation is undeniably tied to their players' conduct.
Totally.
On the other hand,
Yeah.
holding teams fully responsible
Yeah.
for actions that happened outside their purview, potentially years ago,
Right.
could be seen as excessive.
It's a slippery slope, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Like, where do you draw the line?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what does this all mean for Malik Dunbar?
Yeah.
What could this mean for other clubs
Yeah.
facing similar situations?
Well, for Dunbar, the future is uncertain.
Yeah.
His ability to play overseas, even if he's cleared of the charges,
Right.
is now in question.
Wow.
This case could set a precedent
That's true.
for how other clubs handle similar scandals.
Yeah.
It highlights the need for leagues worldwide to reevaluate their vetting processes, not just for the safety and reputation of the organization,
Of course.
but also to ensure fairness
Yes.
for the athletes involved.
Absolutely. So it's not just protecting the team, it's also protecting the players.
That's right. It's a balance.
So much to think about.
It really is a complicated issue.
You've been listening to The Deep Dive.
Always a pleasure.
This episode is a reminder that the world of sports isn't always about the thrill of the game.
Right.
Sometimes it reflects the complexities of the real world
Absolutely.
in ways we don't expect.
That's for sure.
The Malik Dunbar case is still unfolding.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen?
We'll be keeping a close eye on it.
Definitely.
But it leaves us with a lot to ponder.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line
That's the question.
between personal responsibility and organizational accountability?
Yeah.
How do we balance the need for safety